Hey guys, this is that first video in the series that I was telling you about. This is Kavanagh. He's a diver for me from Alexandria. So I'm going to watch this dive from the judging perspective and then the coaching perspective as well. So here we go. Here's first impressions. This is a 105B, and it's all right. It's not bad. Again, from a high school perspective, I'd probably put this in the 6, maybe 6.5 range. So falling in that satisfactory range of scores. It's not far off of being a good, which would be between 7 and 8. But again, let's go judging perspective first. The 5 things we're looking for are starting position, approach, flight, entry, and then the overall impression. So again, we'll go through this. Starting position, no obvious deductions. He's upright. He's in a good position. He's ready to go. Approach, I would also say no obvious deductions. He's in control. He lands near the end of the board, not perfectly on it, but pretty good. And then flight, this is where those distractions and those deductions are starting to come in. The pike isn't super tight. Toes aren't super pointed. I would say he's a little far out from the end of the board, which does go into the overall impression category. And then this entry as well, it's good. It's a little splashy. It's not great. So that's where he's losing some of his points. It's the distance from the board, the position in the air, and that overall impression just being, it's all right. It's fine. It's a good dive. I wouldn't say it's a great dive. So let's go from the coaching perspective back to the top here. Again, everything should be intentional. His starting position in an upright, ready to go position, that's very, very on purpose. I coach all my kids to have a good starting position. No deductions there that are obvious. As we start, again, we're going to use our 7 steps in coaching. So we have our approach, our takeoff, our connection, our spot, the come out, the adjust for entry, and then the entry itself. So approach-wise, each step is intentional. And a big thing here is just the arms. Every time you touch the board, they should be going through 6 o'clock with your arms. So first step there, I usually just don't have them move their arms. So they're already down. They're going through 6. That's easy. Second step, they go back a little bit before you touch the board. And then boom, right there, they should be going through 6. Maybe a little bit late on that one with the arms, but nothing like super crazy. So then here's that third step. You can see as he's preparing for it, his arms go out in front, and then right when he makes contact, arms should be directly through 6. So again, I would say maybe just a tad bit in front of him, a little bit late on that, but again, not super egregious. Okay, and then here's this all-important push step. The board cracks off the fulcrum once, and then he catches it on that second one, parallel to the water. That is very, very key, very important. And again, his hands are through 6 o'clock. So here's his hurdle. Point that toe. That is a huge area of emphasis and something that Kyler and I have been working on for a long time. Just can't quite get it right, but we're working. Arms overhead before or while there's bend in the board. Okay, that's decent. That's pretty good. And then he is out in that straight body position before the apex of that hurdle. At this point, this is where your approach is done and your takeoff starts on the way down. So again, that board is cracked off the fulcrum twice and he grabs it parallel to the water there. That's very good. On a front, it'd be great if his hands were kind of right in line with his hips at first contact. So that's very good. And then as we get to the deepest depression of the board, his arms should be straight overhead. So right there is his deepest depression and his arms are up, little bent elbows. I'm not super crazy worried about that, but eventually, you would, in a perfect world, have straighter elbows all the way extended overhead. So again, we're still in our takeoff here, and right there, his feet leave the board. I like to call this position a house. That's what it's been told to me. Your ankles to hips, that is the side of the house. Your torso to your head, that is the A-frame of the house. Your head itself is the chimney of the house, and then your arms are the other A-frame of the roof of the house. So not bad there, but obviously you can see from his ankles to his hips, it's not a straight line, so that's why he is going out from the springboard as far as he is. Now onto our connection, and the spot is also a little bit part of this, at least in my world. I like to have him be looking at his spot now, which is the water. And so right as he's taking off before his connection, I want him to catch a piece of the water with his eyes, so kind of he knows where he's going and the direction he's flipping. All right, so his connection, as it was told to me, a perfect connection is when your hips are straight upside down of your shoulders. So I would say pretty good there. He could maybe just, finalize that grab a little bit earlier. There you can see that's where he finally fully connects. Okay, the next part of that is the spot. This is that fourth step. Now, right here in his pike, should be looking through his toes and then seeing the water there once. Through his toes, seeing the water there again a second time, right there. So in this 105B, you see the water, you see your spot essentially 3 times. Once on the takeoff, once in the first flip, once in the last flip. So 3 times seeing the water. And right here is where he's starting his come out. And for optionals, obviously your come out and then your adjust for entry, it's very quick. So he's coming out of the dive there. He's looking at the water. He's looking how high he is above the water and adjusting for his entry at this moment. So here we are looking at his entry shape. Again, from his hands to his elbows, that is vertical, and that's what we're looking for. His palms are on vertical. And that is good. And the rest of his body lines up a little short. Obviously, the more dive you're doing, the more short it will line up. So vols should appear pretty straight up and down. And then let's say, 109. It's going to appear, if you take a still screenshot right here, 109 should be even shorter than this 105B. The entry itself is okay. Once your hips get through the water, it's nice to start that swim underwater to a T. And then as you're pulling your hips down to the water, you're also putting your face kind of in those bubbles that you create as it goes through. This one just washes long, so we need to work on entries. We need to work on holding that shape as you're going through the water, because you can see right there his shins hit long, feet hit long, creates that splash. So yeah, again, let's just watch the video over one last time, and hope this was informational. We're gonna keep more going.